Hello everyone, Loremaster of Sotek here. Today's finally the day. We got the Tomb Kings announcement trailer, so I'm going to go ahead and play through the video, and then they also released a Q&A page. I'm not going I'll kind of be talking through the video as it happens. If you want to watch it without me talking, I'll have the link down in the description below, and I'll also have the announcement page in the description below. I'm very excited, so let's go ahead and get started. So this video does play into them a little letter they put out yesterday of the Dark Elves trying to invade a Tomb King pyramid. So let's go ahead and enjoy.
Our power. You covet our wealth. Your empires fall while we endure. What you will find is our curse.
So we got our opening of some Mushabti that look absolutely amazing. Uh-oh. Uh-oh! Oh, Tomb Scorpion!
Our true king will show them. We do not serve. We rule.
Ah, etc. Fucking laser beams? What? Oh my gosh. Okay, so muting the sound, there's a bunch of different units. This is how you do a good trailer, CA, because you get to see all the different units in the roster, it looks like. This casket that they walk up to almost looks like a casket of souls. I mean, that's the exact design of a casket of souls, so hopefully that means we're getting those. As far as other units, you can see... So there's obviously the Tomb Scorpion, which looks amazing. It's one of my favorite units. Looks like we've got, of course, Setcher the Imperishable on the Chariot of the Gods with a shitload of other chariots. I mean, there is just a ton of them. And then this one is just kind of just a galore of units. So you've got your Shabti, you've got Sepulchral Stalkers, which Sepulchral Stalkers are kind of like the Medusa of the... They're one of the variants of the Medusa in Warhammer Fantasy. So they are these snake-like statues that have... they wield big ol' halberds, and they have this ability to stare at people. They have this really nasty shooting attack, which is basically if they look at you and you look into their eyes, they turn you into sand. You just die instantly. It's very scary. There's a Kimrian War Sphinx in the background, which is probably one of the most gorgeous models that was released in 8th edition. Carrion, which are a unit you never saw on tabletop, but I'm more than happy to see them. The War Sphinxes are just awesome. I love that they have the their scorpion tails look so good. And I think, yeah, you can see some Necropolis Knights in the background, which are the heavy cav of the Tomb Kings. They're kind of like Demigryph Knights, which I think this is the first race we've had since the Empire that has Monstrous Cav if I remember right, because the only other monsters Cav are, I don't think are in the game yet. Okay, so you got your carrion. I don't know what that is. What is that? It almost looks like a... It's some kind of project... That might... well, it's a giant skull flying through the air. I'm going to assume that's either a spell or that's a shooting attack. It might be a Screaming Skull Catapult. That's not exactly what I would envision the artillery attack to look like, but alright. Looks like there's just a bunch of undead on the ground. There's the War Sphinx. Again, doing a breath attack. It looks like, based on this image, it looks like they're going to have the breath attack that dragons used to have in Warhammer 1, which is the one where they would just kind of use it in melee occasionally. Just trying to catch everything. There's a Necro Sphinx. These are super cool models. They're very niche in tabletop, which is really bizarre. Like, they have a very specific function, which is that they are monsters that are designed to kill other monsters, as you can tell by the giant ass blade hands that they have. And they're actually surprisingly fast in tabletop. Oh, man, they're huge. It's weird how awkward they look, because they're almost Centaurian in build, in that, you know, they've got the lower half of an animal and the upper half of a man, but as a statue, look how creepy they look. They're very well done, but they're huge, and there's some more, Necro Serpent riders. But yeah, the Necro Sphinx looks pretty fantastic. And then, of course, we've got the Hyro Titan as the big bad with fucking laser beam eyes, which is just insane. That looks super cool. Like, he just incinerates those guys. Just ash. That looks fantastic. Rise of the Tomb Kings. Very exciting DLC. I had personally been almost hoping that we would get one of the racial expansions for the Lizardmen and Skaven first, but you know what? I am more than happy for Tomb Kings. They are probably my second favorite race in tabletop behind the Lizardmen, so very excited. Cetra looks pretty fantastic. Man, those that chest cavity of his could use some patching up. Alright, so let's go ahead and hop over to this, which is... oh gosh, they're putting out all sorts of information. So, Rise of the Tomb Kings, which here you can see Moru Shabti. This was the leaked image that Intel put out, the bunch of goofs. Sepulchral Stalkers, it looks like these are Tomb Guard. Yeah, you can tell by the headpieces. Looks like there's some Skeleton Warriors in the back. Looks like the roster is going to be pretty fantastic. So, Rise of the Tomb Kings. So this is going to, of course, be adding them to Nehekara, which is going to be absolutely fantastic. It looks like they're just kind of giving you a bunch of information about who the Tomb Kings are in this first section. As normal, I'm not going to read this verbatim because y'all are big boys and girls and you can take care of it yourself. Thank God they have... it is a campaign pack, but it does not contain a supplementary story campaign, but is instead adding 2 additional legendary lords to the original, which is awesome, because I don't know how they would have picked only 2 from the 4 we get. So the 4 that they're giving us are Cetra the Imperishable, who is, of course, the King of Kings, and is one of the most famous characters in Warhammer Fantasy. Of course, as you heard in the trailer, Cetra does not serve, Cetra rules. I really like the accent that the Tomb Kings have, too, that you can hear in that video. They're pretty interesting. Looks like he focuses mostly on Skeleton Chariot and Tomb Guard, which is fitting as a kingly individual. They gave him the War Sphinx as a mount, which is pretty fantastic, honestly. That's surprising and amazing. I am not at all sad to see that. And of course the Chariot of the Gods, which is probably the most powerful chariot in Warhammer Fantasy. Hopefully they pull that off correctly. Then we get High Queen Khalida, who looks absolutely fantastic, and she is kind of the true nemesis or rival of Neferata, who is of course the first of the vampires. So Khalida is kind of like the most anti-vampire character that exists. Even Volkmar can't touch her when it comes to hating vampires. But in tabletop, she featured very heavily as a poison slash ranged unit featured character, and it looks like they kept that aesthetic, where looks like she focuses on anti-corruption, diplomatic bonuses with other Tomb Kings. That's interesting. And then bonus ammunition for all ranged units, and then she gives poison to everyone in her army, which is fantastic. Grand Hierophant Khatep, who is such a cool character that really wasn't featured that much in tabletop. He was kind of like, he didn't even have an official model. He was so kind of off to the side, but he has a really neat backstory and just pulled off some amazing things in the lore. When he would show up, he would pull off some just absolutely crazy stuff. When Mount Arachnos unleashed like a horde of Arachnarok spiders, it was Khatep who basically soloed them. But yeah, he is absolutely the first of he's the oldest and wisest of the Lich Priests that are remaining. And of course, he's the first of them to discover immortality. Because most people don't realize, but Lich Priests are not actually undead in a typical sense. They're immortals. They don't look too good. They're kind of like necromancers in that they've managed to kind of stay alive, but their version of life is a bit, but Grand Hierophant Khatep, of course, was banished because when Cetra woke up, he was pretty pissed about not being a golden god like he was promised he would be. Instead, he was kind of a rotting corpse. So, Khatep has been exiled, but he's always looking for a way to get back into favor with Cetra and bring back the mortuary cult's greatness. Looks like he bonus to dynasty research rate. So I guess that's going to be the tech tree from research. We'll have to wait for more on that. Improves casualty replenishment and army movement faction wide. That also sounds great. Archon the Black is probably the least Tomb King of the Tomb Kings. He is of course the Lich King. And he's basically mini Nagash. Like, kind of how Karl Franz you can think of as mini Sigmar. Archon is mini Nagash. Let's see. Yep. Enjoys bonus diplomacy with vampire counts. He never suffers public order from vampiric corruption. And he gives bonuses to a couple of other Winds of Magic and some other stuff, which is fantastic. That's all great. Archon is kind of a weird niche in the Tomb Kings in that he's a master of the lore of death and actually doesn't have he doesn't know the Tomb Kings lore because he wasn't part of the mortuary cult. So he's always been kind of a weird niche within the Tomb Kings book. He's always been more associated with the vampire counts than the Tomb Kings. He just kind of was in the Tomb Kings book because that's kind of where he lived, and he was a bigger member of that timeline, essentially. But he's a really cool character. I'm really glad. He's almost kind of like Morothy in a way, that he kind of seems to have this like pseudo vampire thing going on, in that he's not affected by corruption, just like Morothy has that relationship with chaos corruption. But he also has a diplomatic bonus with vampires, which I really like. That reminds me, I need to check if Morothy gets a diplomacy bonus with Chaos or Norskins or not, because if she doesn't, she should. Looks like a picture here. I don't see anything new from what we've already talked about, just some Sepulchre Stalkers and Necropolis Knights. Let's see. Will they be available in Eye of the Vortex and Mortal Empires? Yes, they will. Will they fight for control of the Vortex? Yes, no. So they will be in the Eye of the Vortex campaign, but they will not be participating in the race. Instead, they seek the 9 Cursed Books of Nagash, a search culminating in an epic battle at the Black Pyramid of Nagash. Oh, that sounds very exciting. Each of these books grants a unique campaign bonus and puts the player a step further. Okay, so instead of rituals, you're collecting the Books of Nagash. That sounds really interesting. I wonder if there's still like a ritual resource. I imagine not, but I'm gonna be interested to see how that works. Especially since there are already 2 books that will be active, because the Liber Mortis that Helman Gorst has, I can't remember if it's a copy of a Book of Nagash or if it's an actual Book of Nagash off the top of my head. If I remember right, it's one of the actual books. And Archon the Black has one as well. Wait, I think Archon the Black's is the Liber Mortis. I forget what Helman Gorst is called. But I think they gave him a book, so I wonder if you have to go up and take it from him. Let's see. What campaign mechanics would the Tomb Kings bring? Let's see. Scour the map for the... Okay, so it looks like you're going to have to hunt the books down. Research and uncover mysteries of ancient dynasties. So that looks like... further expand their armies, combining Xanic trade books. Oh! So they can craft magic items and raise legions of legend. And unlock the power of their unique rights. Oh, okay, wow. So looks like they'll be able to craft items, kind of like maybe the High Elf Rite? That sounds really interesting. We'll have to see how that goes. As they fall in battle, flow into the realm of souls. As certain thresholds are reached, mass healing and resurrection waves are triggered. That sounds terrifying. And of course, it comes out on the 23rd of January, so it's a little over a month away. That's not too bad. It's a little longer than I was hoping, but that's not bad. If you pre-order, you get 10% off. That's pretty good. I don't think... that's pretty awesome. And then, of course, we can go to the Steam page, which we shall go ahead and do. See if I can get any more. So there's the Hyro Titan, of course, vaporizing some Skaven. Oh, there it is, the Screaming Skull Catapult. Look at that. Look at that. That looks great. So, okay, yep. So you can see those ammunitions firing. Then you got skeleton archers. Man, the maps look like they're going to be fucking gorgeous. Look at that terrain. That looks great. There's Khalida, looking awesome. Looks like some more Tomb Guard. I'm trying to see if I can spy anything else that's interesting. Khalida looks great. Khalida has always been like the most mummy of all of them, in my opinion. She just looks fantastic. Okay, looks like we've got Tomb Guard with halberds, archers. Oh, look! Ushabti with great bows. That's exciting. I wasn't sure they were going to have those in. Looks like there's 2 types of necroserpents. I imagine, if I had to guess, looks like there's a spear and shield and halberds. I would have to guess halberds because they have halberds in tabletop. You never see them without halberds in tabletop, so that must be what that is. Ushabti. Okay, so they look good. I don't know what this is. I wonder if this is the thresholds they were talking about. We'll have to see until when they give us gameplay footage. Oh, look, the Hyro Titan has Shim's Burning Gaze and Spirit Leech, just like he has in tabletop. Wow, that's going to be really powerful. That's going to be a really powerful mix. Let's see. Cetra. Looks like Horseman, Chariot, Skull Catapult. Oh, there it is. Casket of Souls. Fantastic. That's what I wanted to see. Looks like some Regiments of Renown. Oh, wow. So they're coming pre-packaged with the Regiments of Renown. That's excellent news. That's excellent news. There's Archon the Black. I would recognize him anywhere. Looking good. That... Is that Katep? That must be Katep, because... Yeah. Oh, are these their starting positions? Wizard Caliph's Palace. Scalpel's Lair. Whoops. Khemri, and there's Cetra. Yeah, these must be their starting positions. So Khemri with Cetra, and then Khalida. Doesn't say, but that... I know that banner... Oh, okay, this is the... Oh, Lustra, there we go. Okay, look. Okay, so that's interesting. Oh, they've got the global map up. So this is... okay, so this is the Southlands, just the northwestern part of the Southlands. Oh, Katep's in Nagaroth. That's really interesting. That's very interesting. Huh. That'll mix things up in Nagaroth, to say the least. So that'll make Dark Elf campaigns more interesting. Then Cetra is in Khemri, which makes sense. And then Khalida is in the Southlands. I wonder if any of them move for Mortal Empires. I imagine they will. You can't have Khalida not in Liberus. Oh my gosh, they are just spamming their Twitter account right now. Wow, those sieges look fantastic. Don't see anything too new there. And then, I love that chariot. The chariot of the gods is so fantastic. How wonderful. How absolutely wonderful. See if there's anything else super different here. Tap the Realm of Souls to regenerate your troops and summon Ushabti in battle. Whoa, that sounds kind of OP. Is that what this is? Because that's an Ushabti up here. So I guess, okay, this must be what they're talking about. So I guess you regenerate troops and you can summon Ushabti at a certain point? It's kind of like the Dark Elf meter, but I guess it's instead of a damage buff, it's a healing buff? I'm not sure. Well, it says regenerate, so I guess. That's kind of interesting. That's different. And then they've just got some lore stuff. Unique resource. Okay, so this is their unique resource. Canopic jars. Get through missions, buildings, and post-battle loot. You can use these to awaken units, unlock tech, perform rites, and craft unique items. I like that. That sounds great. One of the things I always wish there was more of in the game was the ability to craft items. That is such a cool concept that they did with the High Elves. So if that's a bigger thing with the Tomb Kings, I think I'm going to really like that. I still really wish like the dwarves could craft runes. That would be so awesome. Okay, we already read about the books. Going after the books in the Gash is going to be super fun. Mortuary Cult can use to make magic items, armor, talismans, enchanted items, arcane items, and resurrect powerful legions of legend. That sounds fucking awesome. Let's see. Oh, they have rights, okay. Great Incantation of Petra. Summon a unique hero capable of colonizing ruins at city level 3. Wow, that's really nice. That's really nice. So this is kind of like how the Skaven can recruit a unique hero, but instead of destroying a city, you make a city. That is awesome. Also, Necrotex. Ah, awesome. I love Necrotex. Are they going to have the full roster in here? Oh yeah, well, it looks like they have the important parts of the roster. Okay, so we'll get back to that in a moment. Great Incantation of Kassar. Generates sandstorms across all player-owned regions. Causes attrition to foreign armies. Increases your ambush chance. And confers an army ability called Sand Veil. Gives the unit hidden and stalk in the battle, making them invisible. Okay, so this is like a combination of the Lizardman right that causes attrition to foreign armies. Also gives an ambush chance, and then gives a hidden and stalk. So this is like getting Night Shroud as an army ability, though, instead of a spell. Great Incantation of Geheb. Invoking the God of Strength. Canopic Jar Generation and Province Growth. Reduces construction time and gains the Tomb Swarm ability. A swirling swarm of scarabs which damages the target and moves in the same manner as a Vortex spell. Oh, that's sick! So Tomb Swarms are actually in the game. See, this is really fucking cool. I like this. Like, I get that swarms can't be in the game as a unit because they don't really fit the Total War formula, but this is a really creative way to put swarms in the game. I love that. That's super awesome. And then the Great Incantation of Tahoth. Adds a Casket of Souls magic artillery unit to the recruitment pool. Okay, that's interesting. So, I guess that means they don't have a building. I guess that means you have to use a right to wake them up. That's, okay, I like that, because they're supposed to be kind of rare, so that's interesting. Confers a rank bonus to newly recruited Tomb Kings and unit recruits, and increases recruitment capacity faction-wide. Sounds awesome. We already went over all the legendary lords. Okay, only one lord choice, which is the Tomb King. That's kind of a disappointment, but I was kind of hoping for High Lich Priests, but, well, or Lich High Priests, but I'll take what I can get. Let's see. A number will appear as standard, but unique named Tomb Kings, famous rulers from the 6 dynasties of Nehekaran history, may be resurrected via the Dynasties panel. Oh, that's badass. So you can recruit unique Tomb Kings. So they're kind of like pseudo-legendary lords, it sounds like. Tomb Princes, sounds great. They have a unique curse ability which makes targeted enemies enter a state of rampage. Okay, that's interesting. So they have a rampage cast. Okay, so I wonder if that means they also have the regular curse? Because in tabletop, Tomb Kings traditionally have a curse ability, which means when they die, they deal damage to whoever killed them. So I wonder if that's going to be replacing the Tomb Prince's version of that. Because like the Tomb Kings have a version that does a lot of damage, and the Tomb Princes have a version that does a little less damage. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. Lich Priest, that's pretty straightforward. Lore of Light, Death, and Nehekara, awesome. They have all their lores. Unique curse ability, which reduces enemy armor values. They also gain the immortal skill earlier than other agents. Hey, I love it. And then Necrotech, which is one of my favorite heroes in tabletop, because they were just goofy. They were super goofy. But they had some really nice buffs. Builders and Taskmasters, reduce building costs, movement speed of your armies. Master Maces, they provide aura-based buff to construct units, such as Shabti, Tomb Scorpions, and Hydra Titans, improving their combat abilities in a number of ways. Sounds fantastic. Realm of Souls, which I'm glad to see is a campaign mechanic. This is a significant part of Tomb King's lore that was much more of a focus in 8th edition. Which is... Oh, okay, so the more of your warriors fall to the enemy, more souls enter the realm, which tracked in the UI. 3 key thresholds triggers a mass healing wave among your skeletal units. So I guess that means not constructs. Each wave becoming successfully more powerful. After the final wave, you also can summon a unit of a Shabti anywhere on the battlefield. That is fucking ridiculous. That is ridiculous. How is that even remotely balanced? Oh my gosh, you just get to summon free Shabti? Yeah, get out of the way, Ray's dead. Jesus. Okay, so it is like the Dark Elf one, except for on those 3 points, you get a healing buff for all of your skeletons. And it gets more powerful for each level. And then when you reach the end of the bar, you get to summon some free Shabti. That's awesome. I wonder if they're going to get that in multiplayer. If so, that could be really interesting. I'm sure they'll get the healing bar, just like the Dark Elves get their thing in multiplayer, but I'm really curious about the Shabti summon. And then the Lore of Nehekara, I'm going to be really interested to see how they pull that off. The Lore of Nehekara in tabletop was really weird, because it's mostly a buff and debuff lore. It has very few damage abilities. So I'm going to be really curious to see how they pull that off. Alright, well that pretty much covers all of the Tomb King information. I am so excited for Tomb Kings. They are just such a fantastic faction. They're probably one of, if not the most flavorful faction in Warhammer Fantasy. And I don't think any other fantasy universe has pulled off the Egyptian mummy theme nearly as well as Warhammer Fantasy has. This is actually one of the main reasons I get so mad at Age of Sigmar is they got rid of the Tomb Kings. And the Tomb Kings is just one of the best undead factions I've seen in any fantasy universe, in my opinion. I absolutely love the Tomb Kings. They have such a great aesthetic. And getting to play as undead and not be stuck at the vampire counts is going to be so nice. So that'll do it for me today. I hope you all have a great day. I am very excited. Let me know what you guys are most excited about for the Tomb Kings down below. Of course, I'll be covering the news and information as more comes out, including the official roster and some other stuff. So thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.